If you're a normal, everyday person who wants to get and feel healthy, but you struggle with finding the time, energy, or motivation to get healthy, you'll want to watch this expert interview today from start to finish because the expert that I have is amazing at helping you do just that. Today on How to Manage Time, Ask the Experts, I have Mackenzie, who is a Get Healthy coach. She specializes in habits and consistency that allows you to be a real person who eats bacon and drinks a few beers while still working on a healthier version of you. If you want really solid top tips on how working out and eating healthier can be fun and not sucky, be sure to listen to the episode. Here we go. Hi y'all, how's it going? Today we have a really special guest and she is Mackenzie. She is, her business is Running with Bacon, and I'm really excited to introduce her to you and get all of her amazing tips about getting healthy, working out, eating healthy, all of the things. And yeah, I'll let you take it away. How did you become Running with Bacon?
Hey everyone. Yeah, so my company is Running with Bacon, and I became Running with Bacon. Pretty much, I always knew that I wanted to, in some way, help people get healthy. I wasn't sure what that was. So I actually was a strength and conditioning coach for about 5 years. Um, and then I just kind of decided that I loved it, but the part that I loved about it was the helping people out, not necessarily training people to become like their peak performers. And where my passion really lies is just helping normal, everyday people like me get healthy. And so it kind of took a little, process, a couple of like odd jobs and stuff along the way. But so now I'm doing it, and I actually was going to name my company, it sounds funny, but Running with Knives. And somebody told me, they were like, it kind of sounds like a mental, like health type company. And I was like, no, I need to say it because, I like exercising, I like being active, and I love food and cooking. And so anyways, I also very much love bacon. And so I was like, okay, not Running with Knives, like where can I go with this? And then I was like, bacon's it. And I was like, it's since then it's become just a perfect fit and really conveys my personality and kind of my thoughts about food and activity. And so yeah, it's been really fun, and everybody's reaction to my company name always seems to like perk them up or make them giggle, and hopefully it's memorable.
Oh my gosh, yes, totally. I love it. And since just as a general disclaimer, Mackenzie and I work together. I am her client and she is my client. And it's been really wonderful because, I get to eat, especially during right now, my eating habits are a little, she knows this, all a little bit of all over the place, but just totally fine
Yeah.
because it's adding grace and adding flexibility and balance to it.
Hmm.
And I have never worked out more in my life than I have in the last couple months. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's, they balance each other. But yeah, so
Yes.
as a new entrepreneur, as an accountability, somewhat like get healthy coach, what is your top tip of managing your time?
My top tip would be to use your calendar. That's what I found has been the most successful thing for me. Um, Whether it's something like, because for example, I always know that I'm going to get some type of activity in the day. And I kind of was just, I had in my mind when about I wanted to do it. And it always kind of seemed harder to get it in when it was just kind of that, like, I'll get to it thing. So when it was actually in my calendar and I'm like, okay, my workout is going to start at this time, then I know that I have to finish up my work, and, whatever I'm doing, I need to finish it up so that I can actually work out, because believe it or not, working out for me is really fun. I like it. I enjoy it. Um, but so putting it in my calendar and having that set time, it doesn't put pressure on, the things leading up to it, but it makes me a sense of accountability to myself to get my work done, or, whatever it may be. So that way, when it comes time to work out, I can do it, without guilt, without the stress of thinking that I still have 100 things left to do for work that day. So definitely working with my calendar and figuring out how it works with me. And so you teaching me kind of the, time blocking and things like that. The more that I kind of hone it in and figure out how it works for me, I think the better I'm getting at it in both my business, and then I really do enjoy my not working time even more because of how much I know that I've gotten done already.
Yeah, I love it. Was it always that, like, easy or simple? I don't know, what was
No.
your journey with that?
No, so it was kind of like I would put things into my calendar, and then I would kind of just, being a newer entrepreneur, I would always just kind of say, well, if I don't get it done today, I know that I'll have time tomorrow to do it. Or, I pretty much, if because I'm the one setting the deadlines, I'm like, well, they're kind of flexible. Like I could just, if it takes me a little longer, or if I don't quite get to it, or if I don't feel like doing it, that kind of stuff, I would just be able to justify it away and say, it's okay, do it tomorrow, that kind of stuff. So it definitely was, I think, almost a like self-realization process of how important it is when I make a commitment to myself in terms of my time, that I keep that, because it's very similar. The parallels between, the time management and working out are very similar in that respect. When I make a commitment to myself to work out or to be active, every single day. And don't worry, you don't have to do it every day. But so when I made that commitment to myself, though, it's something that I actually feel really bummed when I don't keep that promise myself, when I don't get out for a run or a walk, or, do something that I'm kind of like, man, I really wish that I would have done that. By the time I'm like reflecting before I get into bed, I'm like, man, I should have done that. And so when I started looking at it the same way in terms of my time management, it really clicked for me that it's it's a promise to yourself. When I started viewing my calendar as my little mini promises to myself, to my business, my productivity, my future self, and like all the reasons that I went into business in the first place, then that's when it started clicking. And so now, like I said, we're just kind of like fine tuning, what specifics work for me and my business, and kind of the way that I operate, I guess.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's really a hard realization. Sometimes, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm not keeping my self accountable to what I want to do. Like, why am I rebelling against myself? So,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for sharing that story and being vulnerable about it, because it is really
Yeah.
hard. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I want to talk a little bit about how exercising, or, being your best self, being your most healthy self, impacts your productivity and your focus. And maybe you want to share like a personal story about that, and maybe some other tips, whatever works for you. What do you think?
Yeah, I would love to go into that because it's like one of my favorite topics. Working out and being active, and I think a lot of people have kind of a misconception about what a workout needs to be versus just being active and moving your body. And I also think that there's the connection between body and brain sometimes gets lost, because like what happens when you work out or when you're active, all this good stuff happens in your brain and your mood and your energy and your mentality, like your focus, your attention. And it kind of gets lost on people because it's so much of the focus goes into like, man, this workout sucks, instead of, releasing stress and kind of letting your mind wander and stuff like that. So, one of the things that I love to help people understand is that when you are, working out, being active, even if it's just going for a walk, stuff like that, you are literally like resetting your brain so that when you come back, it's like a renewed focus and energy and attention. And so, a lot of people will find that they love working out early in the morning, and there's actually all kinds of good stuff. And like I said, when you're active, and then your brain essentially is primed to learn and be creative and have that focus that you're looking for when you're trying to build a business. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to wake up every morning and I'm going to work out, and that's, I'm going to like do that, and it's my business is just going to go through the roof because I'm going to be like so ready after my morning workout. And it actually didn't work for me because I ended up hating working out in the morning. I hated, having to kind of get up. I felt like not sluggish, but just like it felt like a chore rather than something that I get to do. And so when I started kind of experimenting with where my workouts fit for me best in my day, it's actually kind of early or late afternoon. And so for me, because my workouts serve as almost like a decompression. So for some
Mm.
people, like I said, in the mornings, it like gets them up and gets them going, gets them ready. And then, but I found I'm one of those people that I like it better kind of towards the end of my workday because I just can let everything go. I can de-stress. And
Mm.
but that's the great thing about working out is it can be either of those for you, or it could be any depending on the day. It can serve all of those different purposes depending on where you plan it throughout your day. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that, and I love that you shared your journey of being able to explore with the different, time
yeah,
frames and the expectations that we have, like, "I want to get this done by this time,"
yeah,
whatever. So getting,
yeah.
letting go of those expectations and, like, just tuning into, like, what your body needs, and,
Hmm.
I've recently, just to share a quick tip, like, I'm reading a book right now about time management, of course, but, it's like talking about the importance of endings. And so I'm the same way. I love working out after my end of my day, and it's like you said, serves as decompression. And this book basically like reaffirms that of like I like to end my day on a high note and end my work
Yeah,
day on a high note. And so yeah, it's really great to, reaffirm that in my head. It's like, yes, of course, like, I wanna end my day on a high note instead of being
yeah,
stressed out and, like, trying to work away on the computer. But yeah, so
yeah.
do you have any, other, um, statistics or facts or, like, anything that you wanna share about, how exercising and eating healthy and being healthy impacts your life or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, because it's not necessarily something that is going to happen overnight. I mean, I think we all, we've heard the statistics about, three-quarters of Americans are overweight and obese and like all the, costs related to that. And we like to think of them kind of as like future costs. And it's easy to just kind of brush it off and say, like, I'll get healthy later and I'll get healthy later. But it's the same thing. I mean, really, when you think about it in terms of our time management, when we're like, I'll get to that later, or, like I was, my deadlines were a little flexible. It's like it's fine if I do that tomorrow. But with getting healthy, it's something that is a lifelong process. Um, and it's something that I think a society and our culture has fed us a lot of information and a lot of misinformation, and it's really confusing, to be quite honest with you. But that's like one of the reasons that I focus on activity so much, is because the nutrition part of things is something that most of us have kind of like struggled our entire lives. Whether it's our parents, like they didn't really know how to eat or kind of know what to do, and like from the food pyramid when you're really little, like you start
Oh,
learning
yeah.
about it in grade school. And so kind of since then we've been just getting all this information, and it clashes and it doesn't make sense. And not to mention, we all have to eat. We're eating like three times a day, and so it's almost like picking your battles. And instead of having that battle and struggling three times a day with what you're going to eat, your nutrition and all that, let's just put that on the back burner for a little bit and work on getting active. And so that's one of the things that I think could really benefit, people in their business. I know it's helped me a lot that it has a trickle down effect. It's kind of
Mhm.
like time management. It has that trickle down effect where you feel like you kept your promises, you accomplished what you thought you were going to do that day, and it feels good, and it kind of like builds momentum in your business. And so then things kind of keep happening, and it like literally gets the ball rolling, and you're like, whoa, like this time management is like in every part of my life. And it happens to be the same because, with activity and getting healthy, because it has that same trickle down effect. When you work out one day and, you go for a walk for 30 minutes and you're like, man, I'm really glad I did that. And then you might kind of think like, I might only have two cookies today instead of the whole sleeve. It's like little things like that that like add up over time that,
Yeah.
really will help you get healthier. So it's not necessarily like a one thing, just like in time management. It's not, one day it's just going to flip and you're going to be cruising and beautifully manage your time. It's a process. So,
Yeah. And we're all human, right? Like we all
oh,
have to
yeah.
go up and down. So I want your advice. So, for
Hmm.
people that, are on this like high, they're on this uphill, they're like
working out more, they're eating more, and then they miss a day. What do you like, and they bag it all. They're like, "Oh,
Mhm,
like, I'm starting all over." Like, what do you say to your clients or yourself or me?
mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's just what you said is that we're all human and you're gonna fall off the wagon. It's gonna happen. And so the first thing is to have grace with yourself. I mean, understand that it might be you're just not feeling it that day. It might be a hectic schedule. It might be life happened, something popped up and got in the way. But the real trick is to have a plan for when you fall off the wagon. So there's this habit guy, you may have heard of him. His name's James Clear. He wrote the book Atomic Habits, and his mantra is to never miss twice. Because essentially,
Mm,
once you start, once you let yourself miss the second time, that's kind of where you split off into forming a new habit that's maybe not the healthier one that you were hoping to. So it's pretty much just, like I said, having a plan. So if you do happen to miss one day or you have an off day, whatever it may be, that then you are very adamant the next day about getting back on the horse and making sure that you get your workout in, because that is what's going to then set the tone to keep that momentum going. And by the way, it doesn't have to be, that doesn't mean that you have to work out every single day. But let's say if your goal is to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you miss a Wednesday, doesn't mean then Thursday you have to go and work out. It means your scheduled Friday workout, you don't miss that. Like that's your like one goal for the day is to get back on the horse on Friday and get back to your Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine. So I don't want to like overwhelm people and think that they have to just like start tomorrow and go every single day all out. Like it doesn't work like that. So it's just whatever your measure of success is for you, then plan for what happens when you fall off the
yeah.
wagon, because you will. We
I
all will.
Yeah, I love 2 things that you said, when, not if, like, when
Yes.
we're human,
Yes.
like, things change, things move, and it's being flexible and adaptable with what is happening externally and internally, like, what you
Hmm.
feel. And then the second thing is that, it's your measure of success. So if your goal is to work out once a week,
Yes.
like, just do it once a week. And
Yep.
when if you miss, then do it next week. You don't have to make up for it unless you feel like it, unless you want to.
Right.
But yeah, it's being less hard on yourself and giving yourself grace for when things shift and change. And it's all what I'm about. I love it. We're both all
Yeah.
about
Well,
grace and
yeah.
flexibility.
Because it's, people change, whether it's, with time management, getting healthy, we change when it feels good. We like to feel
Mhm.
successful. So if it's things that when it becomes a punishment and it sucks, I mean, that doesn't feel good. That doesn't kind of keep the change rolling. So it's just, acknowledging what your success feels like and what your measure is. Don't, compare to other people and say like, oh, well, my coach said that I should be doing this. And, it's really about finding what works for you. So, and I
Yeah.
know that Becca's awesome, so she helps you work with that. She'll help you find what works for you. So, yeah,
Thanks. Yeah.
definitely
No,
a
and
process.
it is a process. I've been exploring it for my whole life, and you have too. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's and once you find that thing that like really feels good and serves you and in alignment with like what you want to do, it's so much
Hmm.
easier. Like I really wanted to work out and sweat 3 times a week, and I was like, Mackenzie, help me! Like I need your help. And now it's a habit because I've been doing it for like 3 months, and it feels good. Now I'm like, Mackenzie, help me slow down again. But yeah,
And for somebody who doesn't naturally like is not a sweater, it's been a challenge to get you to sweat.
I have a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. Well, thanks so much. One last tangible tip. If you could give our audience just one last tangible tip on, anything that you could teach someone, what would it be?
It would be to start small. So whether it's, you go for a walk 5 minutes a day and that's your measure of success, or maybe it's you do, I mean, another like habit trick is you can do a habit stack every time you use the restroom, do 5 bodyweight squats and just
Mm,
consider that your baseline, your success. And it's going to start getting you more active throughout the day or consistently, like I said, whether it's the go walk for 5 minutes and then build up from there. But you're going to find that once you realize that you are way more capable than you think, it does feel good to have your body accomplish those things. So start small and then work up from there.
love it. Yeah. Best piece of advice. Start small. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on here today. I am really appreciative and grateful for you and everything that you're doing as your client and as a human in the world. So yeah, if you are interested in working with Mackenzie, find her details in the stuff below, wherever in the bottom, and reach out to one of us, if you need some help with eating healthy, exercising, finding time for whatever you want to do. So thanks so much for listening. I'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks for having me.